Morning.
Hare Krishna. So we'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our together class. We'll continue with our discussions on the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on chapter 6. 9 नहीं 31 हो गया होगा 31. So far we have heard the entire sacrifice of Daksha was frustrated. Daksha was killed by Virabhadra and all the associates of Lord Shiva, they returned very happily. All the devtas, they were very fearful. All of them approached Lord Brahma and they requested that you please help us how to come out of this situation. So Brahmaji first of all chastises them. You have offended Lord Shiva. What can you expect? You should have died because of the offense. But still there is a remedy. Please go and ask forgiveness from Lord Shiva. He'll definitely forgive you. He's Ashutosha. So all of them, along with Brahmaji, they go to Kailash. And the description of Kailash we had discussed in great detail. There is a Naishrayasa mountain. There is a Kailash hill is there. Nishrayas to वहाँ पे है Vaikuntha. Kailash hill is there. Then Alaka region was described. There are the rivers Nanda and Alakananda. There was Saugandhika forest was there, and they saw the residence of Kuvera, Yaksha, Puri. And then, as they are wondering about the beauty of Kailash, they reached to the place where Lord Shiva was personally there. And they had the darshan of Lord Shiva. So we have to continue from 32nd verse or 31st? 32nd. Okay. So somebody can read that. Oh, we'll recite this verse. Sayojan Shatotsedah Pado na Vitapayatah Paryakritachala Nirnirastapavarjitah.
Was 800 miles high and its branches spread over 600 miles around. The tree cast a fine shade which permanently cooled the temperature. Yet there was no noise of birds.
So now all the devtas they reach the place where Lord Shiva is sitting under the banyan tree. The tree is described in this verse, 1,000 yojanas high. That means 800 miles high. Branches are extending 75 yojans. So that's how. That means 1200 kilometers high. Himalaya is 8 kilometers. So 1200 kilometers high mountain. And the branches are extending 75 yojans. So that's how great tree was there, the banyan tree. And it was casting a very fine shade, but still there was no noise of the birds. That means there are no bird nests there. It gave unbroken shade. That was the beauty of this tree. Srila Prabhupada writes. Generally, in every tree there are bird nests, and the birds congregate in the evening and create noise. But it appears that this banyan tree was devoid of nests. Therefore, it was calm, quiet, and peaceful. यहाँ पे भी आता है जब भीष्म देव ही Krishna comes with all the Pandavas, so the description is there. The birds became silent. So that's when the evening comes, the birds they become silent. So now in this place there was no noise. There were no birds there. And there 33rd verse describes first time the darshan of Lord Shiva. Tasmin Mahayogamaye
तस्मिन् महायोगमये
Mumukshu Sharane Surah
मुमुक्षुर्षु
Tatrisho Shivamasīnam
शिवमासि
Yaktamarsham Mivantakam.
saw Lord Shiva sitting under that tree, which was competent to give perfection to this yoga, yogis, and deliver all people. As grave as time eternal, he appeared to have given up all anger.
Tasmin Mahayogamaye, and that place below the banyan tree, Mahayogamaye, Lord Shiva, who is having many sages. There were many sages also assembled there. So they were also there because Lord Shiva is Mahayogamaya. He is competent to give liberation. How he gives liberation? He tells them to chant the name of Lord Ram. That's how he gives liberation. Personally, only Krishna can give liberation. Lord Shiva, he tells the sages and all, whoever comes to him that you please take shelter of Lord Krishna, Lord Ram. So gravity, the word used here is Dadrisho Shivamasinam. They saw Lord Shiva seated under that tree. Tyakta Amarsham. He has given up all the anger. Iva Antakam, just like at the end of the time, at the end of the creation. Antakam. So he is very grave, appearing very grave. Gravity means when a person is grave, that means you can't understand what is he thinking. So what are the thoughts going on in the mind of the person? That is grave. क्या सोच रहा है पता नहीं चल रहा है. So time is described always as grave. Nobody can understand the actions of time. क्या होगा आगे पता नहीं. You can't understand the actions of time. Anywhere else we have heard the description of this time. First time कहाँ पे आया है time factor? भागवतम में हमने सुना है. Anyone remembers? Ah, who is telling? Bhishma is telling. He tells, so many problems came in your life. Aho kashtam, aho anyayam, yadiyam, dharmanandana. Oh, so many problems, partialities. But still you survived. Because you had taken shelter of Vipra Dharma Achyut Ashray. What is this? Who is this time factor? What is this? What is the reason of all this? Sarvam Kalakritam. It is all done by the time factor. And who is this time factor? क्या बोलते हैं? Who is this time factor? बोले he is the person who is standing in front of you. Don't think he is your maternal cousin. यन्मन्य से मातुलेयम सुरिन मित्रम प्रियतमम मकरोत सचिवम दूतम सौरिदा तथा सारथी. ये सब में से कुछ भी नहीं है ये. आपके प्रिय हैं, सुरित हैं, मित्र हैं, दूत हैं, सारथी. नो. सयेश भगवान साक्षात. He is the same supreme lord. And he does whatever he does. That is his plan. So Yudhishthir Maharaj will say, well, पूछ लेते हैं ना, बता देंगे ना. We'll ask him. He says, even if you ask, he will not tell. And even if he tells, you will not understand. So that's how Krishna is. So Prabhupada focuses on this word, Mahamayi, Mahayogamayi. Yoga means meditation. Mahayoga means one who engages in devotional service. So he's seated in yoga. Yoga means connected to the Lord. So Prabhupada writes about the various processes of devotional service. There are many devotees engaged in meditation on Vishnu under the great banyan tree. Maha means, it comes from Mahat. That means when there is a great number or quantity. Mahayoga means there are many great yogis assembled. That is Mahayoga. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, he appeared to be dead. By thinking of the offense committed to him, but he appeared to have given up anger. He didn't look like he was angry. He was just very peaceful. That's how Lord Shiva is. He is always calm, composed. So now all the Devatas, they are seeing. Who else is there? पहले शिव जी के दर्शन हो गए और कौन बैठे हैं साथ में? Who is who of the universe is sitting there? सनन्दनाद्यैर्महासिद्धैः शान्तैः संशान्तविग्रहम् उपास्यमानं सख्या च तत्र गुह्यकरक्षकाम्.
Surrounded by two persons like Kubera, master of all Mudra, pass, and the four Kumaras, who were already liberated. So Lord Shiva was brave and strong.
So very interesting, the presence of two powerful personalities, Kumaras and Kuvera. So Kumaras, they are personification of Vairagya, detachment. So Kumara's presence shows Lord Shiva's detachment, and Kuvera's presence shows Shiva's opulence. So Daksha, he was thinking what type of opulence, he's a beggar, he's living in the crematorium, he doesn't know any good thing, he has no etiquette. Here, who is assembled there? The presence. Here is the famous saying, you tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. So here, who are the friends of Lord Shiva? Who is sitting there? Kumaras are sitting, Kuveras are sitting, Kuvera is sitting. So that shows how great Lord Shiva is. So Prabhupada writes, the personality sitting with Lord Shiva is significant because Kumaras were liberated from birth. And Prabhupada tells the story. And then Kuvera. Kuvera is fabulously rich. Thus, Lord Shiva's association with Kumaras and Kuvera indicates how powerful he is. He has transcendental and material opulences both. But the devotee never ever likes to show his opulences. That's what Sati tells to Daksha. Our opulences cannot be known by people like you. We have the opulence of devotion. Our opulence is spiritual, not like yours. So that is how Lord Shiva is shown here. So devotee, although he has all the opulences, he doesn't like to display them. Every time Srila Prabhupada, when he would walk on the beach, morning walk, many disciples, they would say, there were no footprints of Prabhupada. Prabhupada was floating in the air. So many times devotees would speak all these wonderful things about Prabhupada. One other disciple, she was telling that, she had the art of staring at people and making them turn. ऐसा कभी कभी होता है ना, हम लोग देखते हैं और वो मुड़ जाते हैं लोग. So she had that. So Prabhupada and the devotees were walking by, and she was on the first floor, her house. So she was looking at this group. Every day they were coming. So she found, no, this person is the main person. I will just make him turn also. So she kept staring, and Prabhupada didn't look at her. So she really was on her knees and said, please turn. And then Prabhupada looked at her. Then somehow then later she became devotee and then she was telling that, oh, when I really pleaded with Prabhupada, then only he gave darshan. So that's how nobody can now push devotees to do anything. They have all the powers, but they don't show it. So next verse.
तो एक प्रश्न पूछा
Hmm.
कि हम लोग जो भी ग्लोरिफिकेशन कर रहे हैं महाराज का कोई भी प्रश्न होगा तो ये हम लोग बोलते हैं उनके पास मिस्टिक पावर्स है they have mystic powers and they some incidences are told by devotees. Suppose we separate them out, we don't tell them. Still we can glorify Maharaj, right? Maharaj,
Yeah.
but why we tell those also they have mystic powers?
Because that's what makes people wow or ये भी है. Because we are so much used to miracles. चमत्कार होता है. चमत्कार पे नमस्कार है आजकल.
इसलिए बताते लोग.
So that's why when people they hear such stories, although we know they are pure devotees, all these are material, but still we have
so glorious. There is no need to tell about those mystic powers also.
one time I think ये ना सेठी करके एक था ना जिसने प्रभुपाद को बहुत मदद की जुहू में. प्रभुपाद said you make I think वृंदावन में बनाया जुहू में ही ना सेठी. So and Krishna will make a home for you in Vaikuntha Goloka. So I think he was the person. He said, Prabhupada, I have received a message that my father is serious. He needs some operation surgery, so I have to go. So Prabhupada said, no, he's all right. No, Prabhupada, I just received a mail. He said, Prabhupada said, no, I'm telling you, he's not right. You don't have to worry. But still he went and then as he reached that place, he said, what? He realized that Papa, Putaji to all well. So how did Prabhupada know? So sometimes Prabhupada shows all these different types of mystic powers. Yes, no? Ah. Yeah.
He was doing his novel, chasing some goats, and then they said that he's chasing the goats in Vrindavan.
Oh, yeah. So that's how the devotees are. They have all these powers, but they don't give so much importance to it. They have material powers. So Lord Shiva.
Also, the Jananya Prabhu story, na? When Prabhupada was giving class, and Jananya Prabhu was passing just from that side, he was not in the class also. So Prabhupada said someone to pick him up and bring him to the class. And he is going to be head pujari of Mayapur. And like that. So,
Was walking by and he was not there in the class. So Prabhupada told, oh, he is walking, he bring him here. Oh. So that's how Prabhupada showed some. One time Prabhupada said in I don't know which temple, oh, Prabhupada was smiling and very happy. And devotee said, what happened, Prabhupada? Oh, you didn't see Narad Muni had come, Brahmaji had come. You bring chair for them. And every day they come, please keep the chairs. So अभी भी शायद वो लोग रखते हैं 2 चेयर ब्रह्मा जी और नारद मुनि के लिए. So that's how Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said they were laughing, seeing all of you, all the hippies dancing. So ऐसा Prabhupada कभी-कभी बताते हैं ऐसा अलग-अलग. Okay, so now next is a very interesting, very important verse. Vidya tapo yoga patham आस्थितं तं मधीश्वरम् तरन्तं विश्वसुहृदं वात्सल्यालोकमङ्गलम्.
Saw Lord Shiva situated in his perfection as the master of the senses, knowledge, fruitive activities, in the path of achieving perfection. He was the friend of the entire world, and by virtue of his full affection for everyone, he was very auspicious.
So these devatas, they saw Lord Shiva situated in Vidya Yoga Tapa Patham. He was situated in as the master of knowledge, senses, fruitive activities, and the path of achieving perfection. Asthitam. They saw Lord Shiva. Adhishwara. Previously Sati was called as Adhishwari. He is Adhishwara, Adhishwari. Charantam Vishwasuridam. He is a friend of entire world. Vatsalya Lokamangalam. And by the virtue of his affection for everyone, he is Lokamangala. He is very, very auspicious. So Lord Shiva, Prabhupada writes, he is full of wisdom and tapasya. So tapasya means following the regulated principles, doing sadhana. So that's what Prabhupada always focuses on. And then Prabhupada writes about Adhishvara. He's a controller. And Adhishvara means particularly controller of the senses. Generally, our materially contaminated senses are apt to engage in sense gratificatory activities. But when a person is elevated by wisdom and austerity, the senses become purified, and then they engage in service of the Lord. So wisdom and austerity. So wisdom and information, there is difference. Information we all have, but wisdom, what is the difference between wisdom and information? Wisdom is the information which has matured over a period of time. When we start applying that information, then it becomes wisdom. Then it is our wisdom. Otherwise, whatever we are speaking now, it is borrowed realization. We have heard some realizations of devotees and we put together, we take some notes and then we speak it. That is also good. That is also very attractive. It is like taking a loan from all the previous acharyas. उनसे loan लेके हम अपना खिचड़ी पका रहे हैं. Our classes are most of the times speaking about some realizations, whatever we have heard, and sometimes we speak our own experience. So when we practice that information, the knowledge or our borrowed realization, we have to pay off the loan. नहीं तो फिर लोन लेके हमेशा नहीं रह सकते. We have to pay off the loan also. How to pay off the loan? When we start practicing it, then it becomes our realization. नहीं तो अभी उनका realization बता रहे हैं, उनका realization बता रहे हैं, हमारा realization नहीं है. So unless we start applying it and realizing that, it will not make much impact. That's the difference between a pure devotee speaking and a sadhaka speaking. Pure devotees, they speak realizations, or advanced devotees, they speak realizations. But for a new devotee or practicing devotee, they most of the time speak the realizations of other souls, great souls. Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva is described as Lokamangala. Why he is Lokamangala? He is good fortune personified. How is he is a good fortune personified? He is teaching everyone how to engage in devotional service all the day. So that is how he is doing the best welfare activity. The best Lokamangala is to teach by example. That is most important. As there is a famous saying, you should preach all day and sometimes you should speak also. So preaching is not just about speaking. It's more about practice and showing by the example. So Prabhupada Chakravarti Thakur writes, he is the shelter of knowledge, austerity, and yoga because he starts these processes. He performs austerity for the benefit of the world. So that's how symptoms of the great souls are. They do tapasya for the welfare of others. Just like Vyasdev, he's doing tapasya, he's sitting in meditation. First canto, fifth chapter, I think. Fourth or fifth. भौतिकानां च भावानां शक्तिरासं च तत्कृतं अश्रद्धधाना निसत्वान् दुर्मेधान् ऋषितायुषा. He is seeing the condition of people of Kali Yuga. Durbhagam janan vikshya muni divyena chakshusha. Muni Vyasdev, he saw by his transcendental vision. He was sitting in meditation and he's seeing the condition of people of Kali Yuga. And that's why he wrote all the scriptures. So now, Lord Shiva, what is he doing? Lingam ta chap tapasa bhishtam bhasmadanda jatajinam angena sandhyabhrarucha chandralekham chabhratam.
Was seated on your skin
and was practicing all forms of austerity. Because his body was smeared with ashes, he looked like an evening cloud. On his head was the sign of a half moon, a symbolic representation.
Yeah. So Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva's symptoms of austerity are not like that of Vaishnavas. So Shaivites sometimes indulge in smoking and intoxicants. They are never accepted by Vaishnava rituals. Somewhere Prabhupada writes that actually, some purport Prabhupada writes that in Puranas it is described that Lord Shiva, he used to dress as a Vaishnava, but it created a lot of confusion because the followers of Lord Shiva, they were also dressing like Vaishnavas, but they were doing all garbad things. So then Lord Shiva was asked to change his dress. थोड़ा क्लैरिटी रहेगा कि भाई ये हमारे नहीं है, वैष्णव नहीं है, Shivites are. So that's how Lord Shiva dresses like such people. Okay, next verse. Translation, somebody can read.
He was seated on a straw mattress and speaking to all present, including the great sage Narada, to whom he specifically spoke about the absolute truth.
Ah,
Half moon symbol. Hair, on his hair there was a sign of a half moon and symbolic representation.
that's the Lord is always there, na?
No,
Lord
it is
has
there,
Lord. There is some story, some Puranic story, right? Not sure. I don't remember the story. How Lord Chandra is there on the head of Lord Shiva. There is some story. I'm not remembering.
It's a Somnath Linga and so on.
What is that story?
Worship, not able to refill it completely. That's Linga was worshipped by Somde. That is related to the story.
अच्छा.
Next time we will find
हाँ,
out.
थोड़ा रिसर्च करके बता दीजिए. So now, interestingly, Lord Shiva, he's speaking to great sage Narada about the absolute truth. He's speaking about the science of devotional service. So if Narada Muni is sitting, he will not discuss about आज का share market में क्या चल रहा है. He will discuss about only the topic of devotional service. That is the only thing which Narada Muni talks about. So whenever Narada Muni is there, he will discuss only Krishna Katha. And that's what he is doing. So Prabhupada writes, Lord was sitting on a mattress of straw because such a sitting place is accepted by persons who are practicing austerity. Narada was asking Lord Shiva about devotional service. Narada Muni is the younger brother of Lord Shiva. Brahma ji se pehle Kumara, then Rudra, and then all the 10 sages, they took birth. So Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava. Vaishnava namet ha Shambhu. So therefore, they are discussing about subject matter of devotional service. That's how Srila Prabhupada describes. And then Prabhupada writes, another point in this connection is that Lord Shiva is a supreme instructor and the great sage Nara is the supreme audience. Therefore, the supreme subject matter is Bhakti. Anywhere else we have heard this? The audience is wonderful, the speaker is great, and the topic is amazing. So this combination is...
Shukadeva Goswami,
Vijay Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj and also Shaunakadi Rishi and Suta Goswami.
किसी को श्लोक याद है? श्लोक भी था. तन्नो भवान वै भगवत प्रधानो. आगे हमारा श्लोक रिसाइटेशन अभी बंद हो गया है. तन्नो भवान वै भगवत प्रधानो महत्तमैकांत परायणस्य हरेरुदारं चरितं विशुद्धं शुश्रूषतां नो वितनोतु विद्वान्. Oh Bhavan, oh great sage Shuta Goswami, you are great Bhagavat Pradhan. And the topic is Hare Udara Charita Vishuddha, and we are Shushrutam, Shushrushatam, we want to hear. So eager audience and a qualified speaker. And the subject matter is Krishna Gatha. What can be better than this? So that's how Parasparanukathanam, they are discussing this beautiful pastime. Because the devotee, whenever he goes somewhere, the first criteria is he'll find out Krishna Katha chal rahi hai kya. न यत्र वैकुंठ कथा सुधापगा न साधवो भागवता सदाश्रया न यत्र यज्ञेश मखा महोत्सवा सुरेश लोकोपि न वैश सेव्यता. If these three things are not there, a devotee will not go to heaven also. वैकुंठ कथा is not there, नहीं जाएंगे. न साधवो भागवता आश्रय, डिवोटी एसोसिएशन नहीं है, नहीं जाएंगे. न यत्र यज्ञेश मखा महोत्सवा, festivals for the pleasure of the Lord is not happening, will not go there. Even if it is Suresh Loka. Another verse describes which day is an inauspicious day. It says it is not an inauspicious if there is no sun. If it is all sky is covered with cloud, that is not an inauspicious day. Tad dinam durdinam manni. Durdina kaun sa hai? Megha channam na durdinam. That is not an inauspicious. Tad dinam Krishna samlapa katha piyusha varjitam. If there is no Krishna Katha happening, that day is Durdina. That is inauspicious. ये भागवतम का नहीं है, कहीं तो है, पुराणों का है. I'll have to search. कहीं से तो है, भागवतम में नहीं. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, previously it was mentioned that Sanaka and others were worshipping Shiva. They were present. But Narad was the best among them because of his bhakti. Therefore, it should be understood that they were discussing about bhakti only. Now, next verse, translation. So that's how, this next verse very beautifully describes the sitting posture of Lord Shiva. And there's a famous picture of BBT artists. Exact same picture they have made. आप लोगों ने देखा रहेगा, Lord Shiva is sitting in meditation and सब लोग बैठे हैं सामने. Translation, please.
Rudraksha beads. The sitting posture is called
Virasana.
Start in the Virasana posture and the finger was in the mode of argument.
वो देखिए ना ये पिक्चर आपको बीबीटी का ये वाला पिक्चर है शो उसमें रहेगा ये वाला पिक्चर है ये वाला ये सब कुछ अच्छे से दिखाया है. How Lord Shiva is sitting, Kuvera, Narad Muni and all that. उसमें होगा ना यहाँ नहीं वो भी है बट इसमें विरासन में नहीं दिखाया है वो वाला अलग है. ओके So Srila Prabhupada writes, the sitting posture described herein is called Virasan. That is when one performs Ashtanga Yoga, one has to sit in various asanas. And then Prabhupada writes about Yoga asanas. Lord Shiva is called Yogishwara. The word used here is Yogishwara. I think in previous verse or in one of the verses, Lord Shiva is described as Yogishwara. So Prabhupada writes, what is the meaning of Yogishwara? Because Yogeshwara is also there and Yogishwara is also there. So Yogishwara is the master of all yogis. And Krishna is called Yogeshwara. So Yogeshwara indicates that no one can surpass the yoga practice of Lord Shiva. He is the best of all the yogis. And Yogeshwar, no one can surpass the yogic perfection of Krishna. Nobody can be better than Krishna in yoga. योगियों में सबसे उत्तम है लॉर्ड शिवा. That is योगी ईश्वरा. of all the yogis. Lord Shiva is supreme. And this process of yoga, that is given by Lord Krishna. So he is the master of the yoga. The yoga path is given by Krishna. That's why he's called as Yogeshwara. And then Taraka Mudra. He's having this Taraka Mudra. Now finger opened, second finger is raised. That is Taraka Mudra. Okay, next verse, translation.
All the sages and demigods headed by Indra offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord Shiva with folded hands. The Lord Shiva was dressed in dazzling garments and was loud in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages.
So again, Lord Shiva is dressed in saffron garments, the color of detachment, renunciation. And he is appearing as the foremost of all sages. So Prabhupada writes, that is Brahma Nirvana. So the word used here is Brahma Nirvana Samadhi Ashritam. So he is situated in Brahma Nirvana. So Prabhupada writes, what is this Brahma Nirvana? Samadhi means particularly concentrated affection. So one who has achieved the qualification of always meditating on personality of Godhead is to be understood to be always in trance. That is Brahmananda. And then Prabhupada describes about Yoga Kaksha. So the posture, sitting posture. Then another word used here is Manunam Adyam. That is significant here because they mean a philosopher, one who is thoughtful. So Lord Shiva, he is described as a chief of all thinkers. He is not an ordinary personality. And then Prabhupada describes that Supreme Sadashiva appears as Advaitacharya to liberate fallen conditioned souls. And then he's also started Rudra Sampradaya. Prabhupada writes all that.
So, Haribol Dandat, yeah, there was some confusion. No? So this Sadashiva is not the Shiva, na? Sadashiva is the Vishnu, na?
Sadashiva is who?
He's Lord Vishnu, na? Sadashiva is the Lord Shiva or Lord Vishnu because Advaitacharya is Vishnu Tattva.
Sadashiva is Lord, he is the original Shivji only, but he is a Vishnu, he is a avatar of Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu's avatar is Sadashiva, and from Sadashiva, all the Shiva incarnations appear in this world. That's how he is Sadashiva, original Shiva. And that original Shiva is basically the avatar of Lord Vishnu. I think Sankarshan se aate hain ye sab.
Because here also in Bhagavad Prabodhini, na, Gauranga Prabhu mentioned one part about he appears as Advaita Acharya, but
तो
then during the
Prabhupada purport में लिखे हैं वो Lord Shiva in the form of
but
Advaita.
during the so that during the class of Advaita Acharya appearance day in Chopati, I think there was discussion and I heard that class. So Prabhuji was mentioning anyone, Bhakti Samrat Maharaj, while mentioning about Lord Shiva in his one of the talks, he mentioned that the Sada Shiva is Lord Vishnu, Advaita Acharya is Vishnu Tattva. So that Sada Shiva combination or Mahavishnu combination is not the Rudra. The Rudra principle of Shiva. So people confuse in that.
Yes, that is there, Prabhuji. So Lord Shiva, this Sadashiva is Vishnu's incarnation. That is there in the spiritual world. He is always there because he is a Vishnu avatar, and he appears in this world as a Rudra principle, as 11 Rudras. That is how Lord Sadashiva takes avatars in this world as Shiva and 11 Rudras. So that's how Advaitacharya is basically Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. Sadashiva is Vishnu only. So Mahavishnu, Sadashiva, they are same, not difference. There is no difference. So that's how Advaita Prabhupada writes about that. Okay. So now, so all the Devatas, Rudra, Shiva of this world. So next verse, translation.
Lord Shiva, so to speak, was worshipped by the good demigod and the demons, but still, in spite of his exalted position, as soon as he saw that Lord Brahma was there among all the other demigods, he immediately stood up and offered him respect by going down and touching his good feet, just as Vamandev offered his respectful obeisances to Kashyap Muni.
So, because in this world, Brahmaji is the father of Lord Shiva, he offered his obeisances. That is the ideal standard which he is showing. So, Prabhupada writes about that. Just like Krishna offered respects to Nanda and Yashoda, he touched the feet. Krishna touched the feet of Yudhishthira Maharaj also. Prabhupada writes in the purport. So, that's how the general etiquettes of this world are always followed whenever the Lord appears in this world. It is mentioned when Krishna entered Dwarka, he embraced the equals, showed respects to the seniors, and gave blessings to the juniors. So that's how he is always there. Prabhupada writes how he would touch the feet of Yudhishthira Maharaj also. Okay, now 41st verse translation.
All the sages who were sitting with Lord Shiva, such as Narad and others, also offered their respectful obeisances to Lord Brahma. After being so worshipped, Lord Brahma, smiling, began to speak to Lord Shiva.
So Brahmaji is smiling. Why? Internally he is fearful. At Lord Shiva has lost his wife, he is insulted, he may be angry, but just to conceal his fear, he is smiling. Because he is also fearful of, yeah, we kya karenge, Lord Shiva. Because he knows that he is supreme personality, he is all powerful. Although he has appeared from my, not still from the middle of the eyebrows, but still he knows that he is Supreme Lord's avatar. So humbly he is now offering prayers to Lord Shiva. Brahma uvacha jane tvamisham vishwasya jagato yo nibijayo shakte shivasya cha param yattad brahma nirantaram.
Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord Shiva, I know that you are the controller of the entire material manifestation, the combination father and mother of the cosmic manifestation, and the supreme Brahman beyond the cosmic manifestation as well. I know you in that way.
So now Lord Brahma is glorifying Lord Shiva in the mood of Shaivites. He is glorifying Lord Shiva as a supreme Lord. So there should be no confusion. ये क्या बोल रहे हैं ब्रह्मा जी, यहाँ पे तो शिव जी को भगवान बना रहे हैं. जाने त्वाम ईशम. I know that you are controller of Vishwasya, this entire material manifestation. Jagata, Yoni, Bija. You are the combination father and mother. You are the father, you are the mother of entire cosmic manifestation. And Shiva, Shakte, Shivasya cha param. You are superior to Shakti and Shiva. Yattad Brahma Nirantaram, and the supreme Brahman beyond the cosmic manifestation as well. So this looks like, अरे ये तो कृष्ण के ही सब इनको बताते जा रहे हैं क्या चल रहा है. I know you in that way. So Shiva, he very clearly understands his position. He has described to Sati. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadi Yate Yatra Pumana Pavrata. I am meditating on Lord Vishnu. अभी वो आगे उसी समय तो what can I do? So Chakravarti Thakur describes, he clarifies. Though you offer respects to me, you are more powerful since you are one with the Supreme Lord, one in the purpose. You are also following the instructions of the Supreme Lord. You are also Guna Avatar. You are also doing the service of annihilation. He speaks taking the mentality of Shaivites. So what the Shaivites think? They think of the Lord, Prakriti and Purusha as the form of Sada Shiva. So this word used here is Shakte Shivasya cha Param. So he is glorifying the Sada Shiva here. And that Sada Shiva He is Mahavishnu. He is Lord Vishnu only. He is the avatar of Vishnu. So it is not wrong on his part to glorify Lord Shiva as the supreme source of Brahman, because he is. From Mahavishnu, from Lord Vishnu only all the Brahman comes. He is the source of Shakti and Shiva. Prabhu Chakravarti Thakur writes, I know you are the form of Sada Shiva, the Lord of the whole universe, composed of Prakriti and Purusha. Because I know that you are superior to Prakriti and Purusha. So therefore you are famous Brahma. That's how he describes Lord Shiva. So we should know that Lord Shiva is praised sometimes on the level of Lord Vishnu because he is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And he acts on behalf of Lord Vishnu. And Sadashiv is Vishnu only. Sadashiv is non-different. He is the avatar of Vishnu. He is Vishnu Tattva.
because Brahma Kumari Avatar, they
ओ ब्रह्मा
accept
कुमारी तो यार वो तो कुछ भी बोलते हैं, उनका छोड़ दीजिए. नहीं, उनका अलग है. उनका अच्छा, आप उसमें है, जाके आए हैं. ठीक है, वही वही जाके आए हैं. हाँ, तो जाके आए होंगे तो फिर पूरा हचपच है, खिचड़ी टू द बेस्ट.
वो आज भी गुरु है.
तो शिव जी उनके ये वाले शिव जी नहीं है. उनके शिव जी शिव बाबा अलग हैं. उनकी फिलॉसफी, उनकी स्टोरी, उनके स्क्रिप्चर वही लिखते हैं. उसमें पूरा मेंटल स्पेकुलेशन एट द पीक, ऐसा है वो. बराबर है ना?
उनके जगह जगह पे सेंटर्स, जगह जगह पे सेंटर्स.
हाँ,
छोटे
देखिए
छोटे
लोगों को क्या चाहिए? शांति जीवन में चाहिए,
लाल
भक्ति नहीं चाहिए.
लोचन चालू है.
So that's how people are attracted to all these things. ऐसा कुछ मतलब is not astonishing. People in Kali Yuga, they want cheap things. They don't want the connection with the actual spirituality, whatever it takes to make me peaceful in life. At the same time, make me feel that I am spiritual also. तो फिर चलेगा ना क्या? So that's what they do. So, just to understand about the principles of who is Lord Shiva, Srila Prabhupada describes in 8th canto, 7th chapter, 22nd and 24th verses. And if you can take out that on your devices. Prabhupada writes some interesting purports in these verses. 22 में लिखते हैं, 24 में लिखते हैं, 29 में लिखते हैं, 31 में. So all these are wonderful descriptions of why Lord Shiva is glorified as supreme sometimes. 8:7:22. Because ये क्या situation क्या है? ये समुद्र मंथन के लिए all the devatas, they are going to Lord Shiva. Please drink this halal. There they all glorify him as you are the supreme. आप ही सब कुछ हैं, आप तो भगवान हैं. और भेजा किसने? शिव जी, विष्णु ने भेजा है. So Prabhupada clarifies it there. So we'll read 8:7:22 में Prabhupada writes some things. Vishnu is always unattached to material activities, and when material activities are to be performed, Lord Vishnu performs them through Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is therefore worshipped on the level of Vishnu. When Lord Vishnu is untouched by external energy, he is Lord Vishnu. When he is in touch with external energy, he appears as Lord Shiva. Yes, so we have heard, na, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu glances. What is that glance? The glance is Lord Shiva only.
fire in
Yeah, he impregnates. So Lord never comes in touch with material creation. Who comes in touch with material creation? Lord Shiva. The glance of the Lord is described as Lord Shiva. The glance of Vishnu is described as Lord Shiva. So that's how it is described here. And then 24th verse, again Srila Prabhupada writes, Tvam Brahma Paramam Guhyam Sadasat Bhava Bhavanam Nana Shaktibir Abhasas Tvam Atma Jagat Ishvara. Prabhupada writes in that purport again. This prayer is offered to impersonal Brahman because they are telling you are the source of Brahman. So why they are saying like this? This prayer is offered to impersonal Brahman, which consists of the effulgent rays of Parabrahma. Who is Param Brahma? Supreme Personality. When Lord Shiva is worshipped as Parabrahma, the worship is meant for Lord Vishnu. We should not get confused. Then in 29th verse again, Prabhupada writes something in the purport. Because Lord Shiva is directly an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, he is situated as Lord Vishnu's direct representative. The fact is corroborated in the Vedic mantra. Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaram Shashwatam Shivam Achyutam. Super soul is called by many names, and one of which is Maheshwara, Shiva, Achyuta. These are the names of super soul. आत्मा को परमात्मा के ये सब भी नाम है. In 31st verse, वहां पे भी क्या लिख रहे हैं? So they are praying, "Oh Girisha, since the impersonal Brahman effulgence is transcendental, it is not understandable even to Brahma, Vishnu or Mahindra." शिव जी को बोल रहे हैं कि आपको ब्रह्मा भी नहीं समझ सकते, विष्णु भी नहीं समझ सकते, ये क्या है? So Prabhupada clarifies it again. The impersonal Brahman is unknown even to other directors of creation, including Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and even Lord Vishnu. This does not mean, however, that Vishnu is not omniscient. Lord Vishnu is omniscient, but he does not need to understand what is going on. मुझे क्यों समझना है क्या चल रहा है? ये संभाल रहे हैं ना. I don't need to know what is happening. And if I need to know, I'll know. But he doesn't need to know. Just like it is described, Lord Vishnu also cannot understand his own qualities. ऐसा कैसे? He is omniscient. नहीं, वहां पे अलग description आता है. It's just like if a multi-millionaire is there. If you ask him, what is your net worth? What do you have? So there's always competition between his omnipotence and omniscience. His powers keep on increasing and omniscient Shakti just tries to catch up with him. अरे कितना बढ़ गया अभी पता करते हैं. That's how it is. Okay, so now the next verse. त्वमेव भगवन्नेता शिवशक्त्यो स्वरूपयो विश्वं सृजसि पास्यसि क्रीडन् ऊर्णपटो यथा. ब्रह्मा जी का भी ऐसा ही बोले नारद में, अरे आप तो सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, उड़ना भी वक्लमा, यू आर क्रिएटर, यू आर मेंटेनर, यू आर डिस्ट्रॉयर. तो ऐसा सब जगह सब लोग कंफ्यूज होते हैं. यहाँ भी वही बोल रहे हैं, यू आर द ओरिजिनल फॉर्म ऑफ शिवा एंड शक्ति. शिव शक्ति स्वरूपयो, बाय योर फॉर्म्स एज शिवा एंड शक्ति, विश्वम सृजसी पासी अत्सी. You create, maintain, and destroy. Kridan Urnapata. Prabhupada writes a very important purport here. Shiva Shakti is significant. Shiva means auspicious, Shakti means energy. There are many energies of Supreme Lord. They are all auspicious. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they are all Gunavatar. In the material world, we compare these different incarnations from different angles of vision. But since all of them are expansions of supreme auspicious, all of them are auspicious. Although sometimes we consider one quality of nature to be higher and lower than other. So Tamagun is lower, Sattvagun is higher. So it is not that Lord Shiva is the Devata of Tamagun, so he is of the lower quality. No, it is not like that. Prabhupada gives a very wonderful example. He says, in the government, the example may be given that government has both educational department and criminal department. तो ऐसा तो नहीं एक criminal department है, it is a lower department. Education department is a better department. No, both are same, but their workings are different. Criminal department, if somebody considers it is an inauspicious department, they are dealing with all wrong things. So, but from government point of view, education department is important and this criminal department is also important. They are equal without discrimination. That's what Prabhupada very brilliantly describes how Lord Shiva is not an inferior one. Then they describe about the systems. Next verse, translation.
My dear Lord, your Lordship has introduced the system of sacrifice through the agency of Daksha, and thus one may derive the benefit of religious activities and economic development. Under your regulative principles, the institution of the four varnas and ashram is respected. The Brahmanas therefore ought to follow this system strictly.
So he is saying, you have created the Vedic system of sacrifices. You have created वर्णाश्रम. अभी बोला अभी कृष्ण क्या बोल रहे हैं, चातुर्वर्ण्यम मया सृष्टम. यहाँ पे ब्रह्मा जी बोल रहे हैं, अरे आप तो वर्णाश्रम आप ही बना रहे हैं. So why he is speaking all this? He is saying you have created system of sacrifices, and now with the death of Daksha, who will initiate the sacrifice? So dharma will be destroyed. There will be misfortune. So therefore, please revive Daksha. That's how he's building up. दक्ष को पूरा जीवित करना है, तो वो कैसे करेंगे? That's how he is creating this whole background story. So that's how the great personalities, whenever they glorify also, they don't glorify like ऐसे कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं. There is a very important point which they are conveying. It comes in third canto में हमने पढ़ा ना, when Swayambhu Manu comes and glorifies Kardam. He comes and meets Kardam Muni. So Kardam Muni glorifies Swayambhu Manu. So how Swayambhu Manu responds? Thanks for reminding me of my duties. आपने अच्छा याद दिलाया, अभी मैं करने वाला हूँ. I'll try to follow. That's how somebody, although Swayambhu Manu is doing all those things, but still he says, thank you for reminding me of my services. So whenever somebody glorifies us, और बोलिए
वो बहुत आनंद आ रहा है.
It is not about आपको अच्छा लग रहा है, आपको ये सब करना है, याद रखिए. Even though you are doing it, you should continue doing it. Of course, the devotees, they don't glorify with such intention, but that should be the mood of the recipient. हमको होड़ में लेना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं कि अच्छा ये एजेंडा के साथ अभी आ रहे हैं ग्लोरीफाई करने हमको.
In material world also they glorify with that agenda.
Material world is that different. So, but in spiritual world, spiritual circles, at least we should take it in a positive way. And the devotee should glorify just to glorify that personality, not with the agenda. नहीं तो फिर same हो जाएगा ना. So then he says, you have created the system of sacrifice through the agency of Daksha. Now with the death of Daksha, the sacrifice will stop. There will be misfortune. And then you have created the system of Varnashram. And the Brahmanas, they follow this Varnashram. So why are you punishing Brahmanas also? You have punished Daksha. You have punished Brahmanas. So who will maintain Varnashram? Who will do sacrifice? So that is the purpose of this verse. That is the secret. So Prabhupada in the purport describes about Varnashram system and how this entire Virata Rupa represents the form of the Lord as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Virata Rupa. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, O producer of dharma and artha, you created sacrifice like weaving of the cloth through Daksha. The respect for Varnashram has been created by you. Now, since Daksha is dead because of the absence of someone to initiate dharma, with the destruction of dharma, there will be misfortune. बताइए अभी कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा आपको. In the next verse, now he says, you are all auspicious. Tam karmana mangal mangalanam kartu swalokam tanushe swaparam va amangalanam cha tamishramulbanam viparyaya kena tadeva kasyachit.
Is Lord. You have ordained The heavenly planets, the spiritual Vaikuntha planets, and the impersonal Brahma where as the respective destination of the performers of the auspicious activity. Similarly, for others who are miscreants, you have distinct different kinds of hills which are horrible and ghastly. Yet sometimes it is found that their destinations are just opposite. It is very difficult to ascertain the point of this.
So he's saying, you have created various destinations. You have created Swarga, you have created hell, and you have created liberation. You have created Swarga for pious people. You have created liberation for either Vaikuntha or impersonal liberation for pious people. You have created hell for impious people. And sometimes it is found that the destinations are opposite. It is very difficult to understand. You have created hell for impious people. But now here what I am seeing is a pious person like Daksha is going to such hellish destination. What is happening here? So that is what he is indicating here. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, why should there be opposite result for some people? Ideal situation is pious go to heaven, impious go to hell. Impious are punished. अबे ये क्या हो रहा है? You are sending pious people like Daksha to hell. And you sent Ajamil to Vaikuntha. What is happening here? ये क्या है? You gave liberation to Ajamil. So what is the problem here? There is some discrepancy. So Prabhupada writes in the purport also the same thing. In the middle of the purport, he writes first paragraph. Sometimes it so happens that a miscreant is like Ajamil is immediately promoted to Vaikuntha simply by chanting Narayan. Of course, he was not promoted to Vaikuntha immediately.
Yeah.
He was given the second chance. So he uttered the name Narayan and he was given promotion. And Daksha, he was always engaged in pious activity. He was doing so many sacrifices, but a little bit misunderstanding. And देखो क्या किया आपने मरवा दिया उसको. You sent this Veerbhadra. So the conclusion is that the supreme will is ultimate judgment. No one can argue this. A pure devotee therefore submits in all circumstances. So then Prabhupada writes how a devotee accepts all the situations. He is never disturbed. So he is telling, अरे आपने तो दक्ष को ही मरवा दिया. दक्ष तो पायस व्यक्ति था और आपने भेज दिया उसको. कहाँ पे भेजा? अभी क्या कर रहे हैं आप? He continues in the next verse. Now he is describing translation. We'll read the translation. Next verse.
My dear Lord, devotees have fully dedicated their lives unto your looks, which certainly observe your presence as Paramatma in each and every being. And as such, they do not differentiate between one living being and animal. Such persons treat all living entities equally. They never become overwhelmed by anger like animals who can see nothing without differentiation.
So Lord Shiva may say, well, that anger which I displayed is my mercy. But he says, no, that cannot be. It is only your mercy, not your anger. This is expressed by Kaimutika Nyaya. So Chakravarti Thakur is writing this. If anger does not arise in a devotee, how could anger arise in you? How can you show anger? You can only show mercy. You should not show anger. Please don't tell that your anger is a mercy. So here Lord Brahma is addressing Lord Shiva as the avatar of Lord. Because Prabhupada writes, when the Supreme Personality becomes angry or kills a demon, materially this may appear unfavorable, but spiritually it is blissful, blessing. Therefore, pure devotees do not make distinction between Lord's anger and his blessings. They see both with reference to Lord's behavior. A devotee does not find fault with the behavior of the Lord. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he continues that, if anger does not arise in devotee, how can anger arise in you? The devotees desire to see you in all beings, and all beings as non-different from you, Paramatma. So he's addressing Shiva as basically the avatar of Lord. That's how he is speaking all those things. He says, or they desire to see all beings as non-different from themselves, experiencing others' happiness and distress as their own. So devotees, they are equipoised, they don't become angry on anyone. So if devotees don't become angry on anyone, how can you become angry on Daksha? If those who desire to see in that way do not become angry with devotees, what to speak of those who actually see in this way? You are so equal, equipoised. Why you became angry on Daksha? Devotees do not act as the animals which become angry. This indicates certain exceptions, such as Kumara's anger on Jai Vijay, or your anger as Daksha. So he says that Lord Shiva's devotees are angry. Ravana was angry, Vrikasur was angry, but devotees of Vishnu are devoid of anger. So how can you be angry? So therefore, please give up your anger and be merciful to Daksha. Lord Shiva, he may say, but if I do not give suitable punishment out of anger, everyone would become sinful. So why are you telling that I should not become angry? Daksha didn't behave properly. That's why I have punished him. So expecting this response from Lord Shiva, Brahma speaks the next prayer. Translation.
Persons who observe everything with differentiation, who are simply attached to fruitive activities, who are mean-minded, who are always paid to see the flourishing condition of others, and who thus give distress to them by uttering harsh and piercing words, have already been killed by providence. Thus, there is no need for them to be killed again by an exalted personality like you.
So he says, Brahmaji speaks very, very powerful words here. He speaks 5 types of people. There is no need to punish them. They are already punished. They will be punished by providence for sure in due course of time. Who are they? Those who see differentiation. Those who are karmis. Those who are mean-minded. Durashaya. Those who are always pained to see the flourishing condition. पर उद्येन आगे कोई बढ़ रहा है तो I am becoming so very disturbed. And those who give distress by speaking harsh words, duruktai, and piercing words, vitundati, vitudanti, aruntuda, by piercing words. So such people, they are already killed by providence. So indirectly, Brahmaji is again and again telling, please spare Daksha. He was sinful. He is already killed by the law of karma. You don't have to kill him separately. So don't kill him, just revive him back. So Prabhupada in the purport, he focuses on how a devotee, he is paradukha dukhi, but the people, the materialists, they are paradukha sukhi. They are happy when others are in distress. Except for a few persons in Krishna consciousness, entire world is full of envious people. बहुत एकदम ऐसा स्ट्रांग स्टेटमेंट लिखते हैं जैसे वो उसमें भगवत गीता में ना वो नराधमा वाला न माम दुष्कृत नो मूढ़ा प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमा उसमें कितना परसेंट लिखते हैं 99.9 99.9 लिखते हैं ना कि 99 लिखते हैं 99.9 है कि 99 मतलब उसमें तो ऐसा 99% भी ज्यादा ही हो So Prabhupada writes, Vaishnava is para dukkha dukhi. And Prabhupada writes the example of Haridas Thakur, Nityanand Brahma, and Lord Jesus. So that's how Prabhupada is wonderfully describing. A Vaishnava should not tolerate the blasphemy of Vishnu, but he should tolerate personal insults. So, next verse. So Prabhupada writes Trinadapi Sunishan and all that. Now in the next verse, 99.9 है ना? हाँ, वही मैं बोला 99.9 ही लिखा है. 0.1% को छोड़ देते हैं प्रभुपाद. चल भाई, थोड़े अच्छे लोग हैं संसार में. So then in the next verse, Brahmaji is saying devotees, they do not show their power to counteract. They may have the power, but they don't show it. They just tolerate. Anywhere else it has come. Devotees tolerate, although they are capable enough to retaliate. आप लोगों ने श्लोक भी याद किया होगा. नहीं, फर्स्ट कैंटो है. चित्रकेतु का मैं क्यों पूछूंगा आपको? हाँ, तिरस्कृता, अयो यार, पूरा यूज हो गया. तो तिरस्कृता विप्रलब्धा शब्दा क्षिप्ता हता अपि नास्य तत् प्रतिकुर्वन्ति तद् भक्ता प्रभवोपि means even if he is powerful enough, he will not retaliate. Even if he is तिरस्कार हो, vipralabdha insulted, shapta hurt, shipta even he is tried to be killed, फिर भी नहीं. So therefore he is saying, why are you doing all these things? You recite this. Yasmin yada pushkarana mayaya durantaya sprishta dhiya pratagdrisha kurvanti tatra hi anukampaya kripam na sadhavo daiva balat krite kramam.
Or in some cases, materialists who are already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead sometimes commit offenses. A saintly person with compassion does not take this seriously, knowing that they commit offenses because they are overpowered by illusory energy. He does not show his prowess to counteract them.
So Prabhupada mentions the story of Parikshit Maharaj only. Yasmin yada pushkar nabha mayaya. Those people, oh my dear Lord, those who are Pushkar Nab. Who is Pushkar Nab? Pushkar is lotus. That is Lord Vishnu. Pushkar Nab mayaya. Those who are influenced by the illusory energy of the Lord. The materialists. What they do? That material energy is durantyaya. That is insurmountable. You know, they are already bewildered by Pushkarana Maya, which is insurmountable. So what they do? Prithak Drisha. They see differences. This is mine, this is not mine. I like it, I don't like it. Ichha, Dvesh, all that goes on. So because of that, they commit offenses. Kurvanti Tatra. They do offenses. But Anukampaya Kripam, a saintly person, he shows Anukampa. He never becomes angry on them. Na sadhavo, a sadhu does not become angry. And Daiva Balat, because they know that they are overpowered by Daiva Bal. They are overpowered by material energy. So I should become angry on them. So karma will act for sure on him. So therefore, I will tolerate it. So Prabhupada writes about the story of Parikshit Maharaj, how he tolerated. It is not that अपने पास है ही नहीं कुछ तो ठीक है भाई छोड़ दिया इसको मारेंगे नहीं. अरे व्हाट पावर यू हैड, आपके पास शक्ति नहीं था तो छोड़ दो बोल दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. तो हाथी वाला चींटी वाला स्टोरी पता है ना आपको. और दो चींटियां आती हैं और सामने से हाथी आ रहा है. तो एक बोलती है चल दोनों मिलकर मारते हैं उसको. तो दूसरी वाली बोलती है अरे छोड़ देना यार, हम दो हैं वो अकेला है. बस है ही नहीं कुछ तो बोलने में क्या जाता है. So tadbhakta prabhavopihi, even if somebody has the power, Prabhupada writes, a Vaishnava is personally tolerant for the benefit of others. When he does not show his prowess, this does not mean that he is lacking in strength. In the last few lines, Prabhupada is writing this. Rather, it indicates that he is tolerant for the welfare of human society. So that's what Lord Brahma is telling. Please tolerate why you killed Daksha. So again and again एक ही point है. अपना एजेंडा क्लियर है. दक्षा को वापस लेके आना है. तो उसके लिए हम प्रयास कर रहे हैं. So next verse he says, अरे Daksha was bewildered. Your mind was not bewildered. Why you behave like this? Next verse. भवांस्तु पुंसा परमस्य मायया दुरन्तया स्पृष्ट्य मति स्मस्तदृक् तया हतात्मस्य अनुकर्म चेतस अनुग्रहं कर्तुमिहार्हसि प्रभो.
Already of the individual of the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, you are omniscient and should be merciful and compassionate toward those who are bewildered by the same illusory energy and are very much attached to primitive activities.
Oh Bhavan, Bhavan is very respectable address. ये कहाँ पे सुना है हमने ऐसा? पहली बार भगवद गीता में कहाँ पे मालूम है? तन्नो भवान, ठीक है, चलिए वहां पे जाता है भवान. उसमें बोलते हैं ना अर्जुन, हाँ, दुर्योधन बोल रहे हैं भवान भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च. भवान वेरी रेस्पेक्टेबल. संस्कृत में त्वाम मतलब तुम, भवान मतलब आप. तो ये बहुत ही रेस्पेक्टेबल एड्रेस है. भवान आप हैं. ओ लॉर्डशिप, यू आर अस्पृष्टमति, यू आर unaffected by the maya. You are knower of everything, samastadrik. You are never bewildered. So why you become angry and why you are showing all this, you are punishing those who are bewildered by material energy. Show mercy to them. Ye Daksha was so pakka bewildered by material energy. Please show mercy to them. To him. Prabhupada writes, a Vaishnava is never bewildered by influence of external energy. एतद् ईशानम् ईशस्य प्रकृतिस्थोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युज्यते सदात्मस्थैर्यथा बुद्धि तदाश्रया. Just like the Supreme Lord, he is never bewildered by material energy. The devotees of the Lord are also not bewildered. They are never bewildered. A Vaishnava should take care of those who are bewildered by Maya instead of becoming angry on them. Because without Vaishnava's mercy, there is no way they can get out. So even if they do something wrong, you don't become angry on them. Because your mercy is only hope for them. If you become angry, what's the hope for this? Those who are under the influence of illusory energy are attracted by creative activities, but a Vaishnava preacher attracts their hearts to the Supreme Lord. So now, after speaking this, he says, therefore, अब इतना सब बोलने के बाद शिवजी बोलते हैं करना क्या बोले. What do you want? इतना सब क्यों बोल रहे हैं आप बता दो सीधा सीधा. So इतना सारा ग्लोरिफिकेशन के बाद now he is putting requests to Lord Shiva. What you should do? अब क्या करना है डायरेक्टली. तो सीधा सीधा बोलते हैं भाई इनको वापस लेके आओ, इनकी दांत दे दो, इनके आंख दे दो, इनकी मूछें दे दो, ये सब बोलते हैं. Translation please, 50th verse.
Dear Lord Shiva, you are a shareholder of a portion of the sacrifice and you are the giver of the result. The bad parties did not
Bad priests.
The bad priest did not deliver your share and therefore you destroyed everything and the sacrifice remained unfinished. Now you can do the needful and take your rightful share.
Please take your share. Please be satisfied. इतना गुस्सा मत करिए, शांत हो जाइए. Next verse.
My dear Lord, by your mercy, the performer of the sacrifice, King Daksha, may get back to his life. Bhaga may get back to his Bhaga may get back his eyes, Rugu his mustache, and Kusa his teeth.
मतलब मुस्टैच का इतना सिग्निफिकेंस है, ब्रह्मा जी जाके बोल रहे हैं इनको मूछें दे दो, या मतलब दिस इज ये थोड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है. कंटिन्यू, नेक्स्ट वर्स.
O Lord Shiva, may the demigods and the priests whose limbs have been broken by your soldiers recover from the injuries by your grace.
नेक्स्ट.
O destroyer of the sacrifice, we take your portion of the sacrifice and let the sacrifice be completed by your grace.
So again Prabhupada writes, who is the master of sacrifices? That is Lord Vishnu. We should offer all the sacrifices for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu only. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam. So Prabhupada writes about that. All the remnants are ultimately to be offered to Lord Vishnu only. Otherwise, it creates bondage. Prabhupada continues. After the yajna was performed by Daksha, all the demigods expected prasad. Prasad is only of Lord Vishnu, nobody else's prasad. Prasad means technically only Vishnu prasad. Because all the Devata temples also, technically in Vedic culture, wherever a Devata is worshipped, first the bhoga will be offered to Shaligram. And then the prasad of Shaligram will be offered to Vishnu, that deity, that Devata. So technically, whatever prasad we get, even in Devata temple, is Vishnu prasad only. That is technical. अभी ऐसा नहीं होता है, अभी तो डायरेक्टली डीटीज ऑफर कर देते हैं, तो डीटीज एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते हैं क्योंकि ये विष्णु प्रसाद नहीं है, तो मैं क्यों एक्सेप्ट करूं. So Shiva, he is also one of Devatas, so naturally he also expected his share of prasad from Yajna. But Daksha, he didn't invite Lord Shiva. So therefore Brahma is specifying, please आपको प्रसाद मिलेगा, आप चिंता मत करिए. No, प्रसाद नहीं मिला तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. हमको प्रसाद नहीं मिला,
सेवा वालों को नहीं,
हाँ
सेवा वालों को नहीं.
सेवा वालों को नहीं मिला. देखिए कोई प्रसाद खिलाने वाले और सेवा करने वाले दोनों बैठे इधर. हमको ही नहीं मिला पहले. तो गौरवपुर में पहले बताते थे, जब सर्विंग वालों को सर्विंग करने के लिए देते हैं तो वो धीरे वो स्वीट एकदम थोड़ा थोड़ा देते हैं. प्रभु जी बोला तो देना यार, क्या हो गया, है ना सब. मेरे लिए बचेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं. प्रभु जी बोलते हैं ठीक है, काम कर, तो अपने लिए पहले प्लेट बना के इधर रख, देखते रहे उसको. उसके बाद जो उसका एकदम ऐसा हृदय एकदम ओत प्रोत होता है, प्रभु जी अपने लिए रखे. अरे हम तो अपने लिए कुछ नहीं रखते क्योंकि ये भविष्य उज्ज्वल है, अपने पास रखा है. सबसे बड़ा तपस्या है वो सर्वर का. वो ऐसा डिवोटीज आते हैं, प्लेट पे देखते हैं, ऊपर देखते भी नहीं है कौन दे रहा है. ऊपर कब देखते हैं, जब एक्सपेक्टेशन से कम गिरता है, बोले कौन है रे, कम क्यों दिया. तो वो तो इटर्नल है, वो तो हमेशा चलता ही रहेगा. तो यहाँ पे लॉर्ड शिव इज टेलिंग, प्लीज एक्सेप्ट योर शेयर ऑफ प्रसाद, बी पैसिफाइड. So Prabhupada writes how all the devatas are satisfied when one performs yajna. Yajna should be performed and all that. So Shiva was not invited. So now Brahma is pacifying him. And then Prabhupada never leaves the chance, whenever yajna comes, तो कौन सा यज्ञ बताएंगे प्रभुपाद? संकीर्तन यज्ञ. Prabhupada is like एके ह कुरुनंदन. भाई तो कुछ भी बोल, कुछ भी कोई भी स्टोरी हो, यज्ञ आ गया ना, ये आना ही चाहिए. So Prabhupada is like that personality. He never misses. भाई स्टोरी में चलते 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 भूल ना जाए कि मेन अपना पर्पस क्या है. We have to do यज्ञ संकीर्तन यज्ञ only. So the one paragraph is dedicated for Sankirtan Yajna. Yajna Sankirtana Praya. Okay, so that's how this chapter ends. And Lord Shiva, he starts the next chapter. In the next chapter, 7th chapter, now Lord Shiva says, I was not angry on Lord Shiva, on Daksha. I was just punishing him like a father punishes a child. 2nd chapter, the sacrifice performed by Daksha. So now Daksha is revived in the next chapter and he continues to perform his sacrifice. Maitreya Uvacha Ityajena हवेन परितुष्यता अभ्यधाय महाबाहो रहस्य श्रूयतामिति.
The sage Maitreya said, O mighty Amrita, Lord Shiva, being thus pacified by the words of Lord Brahma, spoke as follows in answer to Lord Brahma's request.
So Lord Shiva, he is now responding. Mahadeva Uvacha Nagam Prajesh Balana Varnainanuchintaye Devamaya Vibhutana Dandastatra Dhrito Maya. So Prabhupada writes there are two kinds of punishment. One is that which a conqueror imposes on an enemy, another is father imposing on his son. There is a gulf of difference between two punishments. So Lord Shiva's punishment was like the father punishing the child. He is a father, he never takes offenses seriously. So if somebody is punishing us for wrong deeds, then we should be happy. It is described that when a devotee commits a mistake and he is punished immediately, that means Lord is merciful. But if the devotee keeps on doing mistake and he is not punished, nobody is punishing, he is always doing mistakes. That means Lord is so disgusted with him, he doesn't even want to punish him and correct him. So that's how Lord Shiva is saying, oh, I just wanted to correct them. Otherwise, in this world, if somebody does a mistake, who cares? He will punish, he will suffer on his own. So therefore, punishment should be constructive, not destructive. ऐसा punishment दो कि next time बोले अब तो मैं और करने वाला हूँ. That should not happen. A devotee should become more and more sincere. That is the result of punishment. And that's what happened with Daksha. He became sincere. He understood the mistake which he had done. So Brahma ji ये सुन के बोलते हैं, that's okay, but what about my requests? आपने punishment तो दे दिया, मेरा request तो पूरा करिए. So Lord Shiva says, okay, ठीक है, I'll fulfill your request also. Translation. Next verse.
Lord Shiva continued, since the head of Daksha has already been burned to ashes, he will have the head of a goat. The demigod known as Bhagav will be able to see his share of sacrifice through the eyes of Mitra.
So interestingly, he doesn't, restore everything as it is. He makes sure that they will remember what mistake they have done, so that they don't repeat the same mistake. सब कुछ वैसा ही वैसा हो गया, so then they'll say, अरे चलो हो गया अपना, back to normal, we'll do the same mistake. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, why goat head? Why not any other animal? Because Daksha, he had the intelligence of a goat. He had the words and intelligence of a goat. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that. The goat never understands that this will be the really scary thing. If I am doing this, I'll be punished. He has no intelligence. And another Acharya says, because in that sacrifice, the goat was also, was about to be sacrificed. So the goat was there. Lord Shiva says, ठीक है, इस goat का head इसको लगा दो. So sacrifice that goat. And why Bhaga? He said, Bhaga got the use of Mitra's eyes since his eyes were contaminated with fault. He could only enjoy his portion of sacrifice with those eyes since his own eyes were useless. What is a useless eye? What is second canto compares, Sudha Goswami compares the eye of a materialist with
The plums on,
plum nahi, plume.
plums on.
Eyes,
Peacock.
eyes of the peacock feather, plumes of a peacock feather. Barahaite ye nayane naranam lingani vishno nadidrikshavo ye. That is useless. The eyes which are not used for taking darshan of the Lord, they are useless. The eyes which are devoid of spiritual vision, they are useless. Just like Dhritarashtra. Born blind, spiritually blind also. So people of Kali Yuga, they are also blinded. Spiritually, they are blind. That's why Bhagavatam has come. Krishna Sudhamo Bhagate Dharma Jnana Divisa Kalau Nashta Drisham. People have lost their vision. Not their physical vision, material, the spiritual vision is lost. So that's why Bhagavatam is given. Okay, now Pusha, उसकी तो दांत ही तोड़ दी, उसको क्या किया? हाँ, next verse.
The demigod Musa will be able to chew only through the teeth of his disciples. If alone, he will have to satisfy himself by eating dough made from chickpea
सत्तू
flour.
खा के रहना पड़ेगा उसको. मतलब बेचारा ऐसा पनिशमेंट है कि डिसाइपल्स विल च्यू एंड गिव हिम, लो भाई खाओ. आर्टिफिशियल टीथ का जमाना नहीं था शायद वो ना.
But the demigods who have agreed to give me my share of the sacrifice will recover from all their evil.
अरे देखिए
उषा क्या बोली है?
उषा ने दांत तोड़ी ना, उषा के दांत तोड़ दिए थे. He was laughing when Daksha was criticizing, insulting Lord Shiva. He was laughing, showing his teeth. So his teeth were, broken. So Shiva is making all the arrangements so that they can borrow the senses. इनसे देख लो, इनसे खा लो. Chakravarti Thakur writes, let Pusha, when alone, eat ground meal. If others are present, he can eat through their teeth. Since he should not have teeth, having shown his teeth at the devotees and laughed at them. The devatas who did not give the best share, okay, their mistake was they didn't give the share. They didn't laugh, they didn't, just stare. So, okay, ठीक है, उनकी ज़्यादा गलती नहीं. They have agreed to give me share, so they'll get all their limbs back. Otherwise, बाकियों को तो दिया ही नहीं पूरा है. Next verse, translation.
Those who have their arms cut off will have to work with the arms of Ashwini Kumar. And those whose hands were cut off will have to do their work with the hands of Visha. The priests will also have to act in that manner. As for Bhrigu, he will have the beard from the goat's head.
Goat का ही सब transplant हो रहा है. So that's how Lord Shiva, he is making sure that these people, they realize their mistake, the gravity of the mistake. So he's although giving them some senses or reviving them, reviving Daksha, but the main thing which is described here is, if the senses are not used in service of the Lord, they are useless. Bharam param patta kirita justam apyat uttamangam nanaben mukunda. If the head is not used to bow in front of the Lord, it is like a burden. Bharam param patta. And if the hands are not used to serve the Lord, the hands decorated with bangles, they are compared to what? Anyone remembers? hands decorated with bangles if they are not used to serve the Lord. They are like Shavao Karao. They are the decorations on the dead body. So scriptures are very strong against these principles. If somebody is not using, just like Kabiraj Goswami says, if you are not hearing Gaur Katha, what is the use of your life? You should have died in the mother womb. तो जन्म ही क्यों लिया? ऐसा स्ट्रांगली बोलते हैं. पाइया मनुष्य जन्म जेना सुने गौर गुण है ना जन्म तारा व्यर्थ हो गया. लाइफ इज वेस्ट. पाइया अमृत धुनि पिए विषय गर्त पानी जन्मी ऐसे कहने नहीं महिला. Why did you take birth at all? So he is doing all this. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Bhrigu, he was a supporter of Daksha. He was awarded the goat's beard. It appears from the exchange of Daksha's head. Prabhupada यहाँ पे थोड़ा scientific लेके आते हैं. Modern scientific theory that the brain substance is a cause of all intelligent work is not valid. Because brain substance of Daksha and that of goat are different. But still Daksha acted like Daksha only. The brain substance didn't change. So the conclusion is that it is the particular consciousness of the individual soul which acts. The brain has nothing to do with real intelligence. It is only an instrument. So that's how Prabhupada concludes here. And then Prabhupada writes, it will be found in the verses that Daksha's head will be replaced by goat's head, but he maintains his intelligence. In fact, he became a better person. He understood his mistake. After getting goat head, he realized his mistake. So that was something better. He prayed very nicely to satisfy Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, which is impossible for a goat to do. So how is this possible? Therefore, it is definitely concluded that brain substance is not the center of intelligence. It is consciousness of the soul. And the whole Krishna consciousness movement is to purify the consciousness. Doesn't matter what brain substance. Anybody who takes to Krishna consciousness will be purified, however abominable they may be. Any verses describing just by chanting one is purified irrespective of their birth. बहुत सारे श्लोक है ना? Irrespective of the birth, if somebody is chanting, they are purified. कहाँ पे याद भी किया होगा आप लोगों ने? कपिला देव देवाहुति क्या बोल रही हैं? तो बच्चों पचो तो गलियान. और एक और उसके पहले भी है ना, 2 श्लोक बोलते हैं. शी टेक्स यन्नामधेय श्रवणानुकीर्तनाद्य श्वादोपि सद्य, even if he is a dog eater born in family of dog eaters. Okay, so now after all this is done, Maitreya Muni, he continues the discussion. Translation please, next verse.
The great sage Maitreya said, my dear Vidura, all the personalities present were very much satisfied in heart and soul upon hearing the words of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the benedictors.
So Lord Shiva is described as Midhushtama. Midhushtama means the best of the benedictors. Midhushtama, the best of the benedictors. So Prabhupada focuses on that. What is the best benediction given by Lord Shiva? That is not a material benediction, that is spiritual benediction. And then Prabhupada writes the story of a poor Brahmana approaching Lord Shiva for a benediction. And what he does? Go to Sanatana Goswami. And then the story of like that jewel, Chintamani. So Prabhupada writes about that. The best mantra is, the best benediction Lord Shiva gives is the connection with the Supreme Lord. Translation. Next verse.
Therefore, Prabhu, the chief of the great sages, invited Lord Shiva to come to the sacrificial area. Thus, the demigod, accompanied by the sages, Lord Shiva and the Lord Brahma, all went to the place where the great sacrifice was being performed.
So now Lord Shiva was not there, so it was completely inauspicious yajna. So Prabhupada writes, there is a phrase called a Shivahin yajna. Shivahin yajna means when Lord Shiva is not there, how can there be any auspiciousness? So all the Devatas and Lord Shiva, they went again to the sacrificial arena. Next. Translation.
After everything was executed exactly as directed by Lord Shiva, Daksha's body was joined to the head of the animal meant to be killed in the sacrifice.
Next.
When the animal's head was fixed on the body of King Daksha, Daksha was immediately brought to consciousness, and as he awakened from sleep, the king saw Lord Shiva standing before him.
Yes. So now Daksha, he is revived back. And Srila Prabhupada uses the word Supta Ivotastho. Supta Ivotastho means as if he is awakening from the sleep. He didn't realize that he was killed. He just thought, Arey, abhi to so ke uthe hain. So that's how Shiva, because he gave this benediction, he came back to consciousness. And then Prabhupada writes how Daksha actually took another body. When he took the body of a goat, head of a goat, but the consciousness remained the same. So consciousness, it doesn't change when the body is changed. You have to work on it. It is not that just by changing the body, the consciousness will change. Everything in this world is destroyed by time except one thing, our false ego. False ego is never destroyed. We have to work on it to destroy it. Just like that is what Gajendra prays, that in due course of time, everything is destroyed, O my Lord, but not the ego. कौन सा श्लोक अच्छा श्लोक बोलते हैं वो कालेन पंचत्वमितेषु कृत्स्नशो लोकेषु काले नहीं anyways I'm not remembering that verse. Then he says no, time doesn't destroy false ego. Everything else is destroyed. Therefore, I don't want to get out of this body. I don't want to get out of the clutches of crocodile. I want to get out of the material conception of life. So Prabhupada writes about the story of Bharat Maharaj, how he maintained his consciousness even in the body of the deer and then ultimately became Jad Bharat. By the mercy of the Lord, he became such a great devotee. Next verse, translation.
At the time when Daksha saw Lord Shiva, who rides upon a bull, his heart, which was polluted by envy of Lord Shiva, was immediately cleansed, just as the water in a lake is cleansed by autumn rains.
So there is a similar example given when we chant and hear the names of the Lord. As soon as the name enters the heart is cleansed off. Pravishta karna randhrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam. All the contamination is destroyed. Similar example is given. Salilasya thashara, the first rains are sufficient to cleanse entire surrounding. All the trees, all the mountains, they are cleansed. So that's how Daksha, Prabhupada writes, Daksha, his heart was impure, but because of having slandered Lord Shiva, now he was punished. He came to consciousness, and he is seeing Lord Shiva with veneration and respect. He became purified, but he didn't become purified completely. He didn't have actual complete repentance. He still maintained the seeds of offense. That's why he again offended Narad Muni in the next life. Next verse, translation.
King Daksha wanted to offer praise to Lord Shiva, but as he remembered the ill-fated death of his daughter Sati, his eyes filled with tears, and in bewilderment his voice rocked up, and he could not say anything.
Next.
Assistant King Daksha, afflicted by love and affection, was very much awakened to his real sense. With great endeavor, he sacrificed his mind, checked his feelings, and with pure consciousness began to offer praise to Lord Shiva.
Next. Now he starts offering beautiful prayers to Lord Shiva. He understood his mistake. He remembered how he was so very neutral, had no emotions when his daughter died. She left her body. So here the word used is nirvyalika. Sashamsa nirvyalikena. Now he is offering prayers without duplicity. He actually becomes sufficiently purified. It is not that he is making a show of offering these prayers. He actually became purified. But because it was not complete repentance, he still made the mistake. Just like it comes in the 10th canto when Indra, he was punished, he was given a good lesson in Govardhan Leela. He repented, he asked forgiveness, but immediately after that, what he did?
He did not do the Parijat.
Parijat ke liye itna, there was a battle.
Hmm.
He offended Krishna again. It was not genuine. That repentance was not genuine. He committed the same mistake again. So now Daksha is offering.
Vaishnava is merciful, so he was not genuinely repented, but he repented for some mercy to him. Actually,
Ek
I
minute,
see
Prabhuji.
Daksha's case is very.
Can you please speak now?
I see Daksha's case is very injustice, just like that. And whatever he has repented, but still very genuine repentance was
एक
there.
मिनट Prabhuji.
Last while,
यार मेरा यहाँ पे स्पीकर बंद हो गया है. Just a minute. Just put in charge.
Will you take this?
हाँ वो होगा.
On.
सची प्राण प्रभु.
yes, Prabhuji.
हाँ बोलिए.
So what I am saying is definitely there may not be a genuine repentance, but Vaishnavas are merciful. They should have forgiven to Daksha, because I see his case was injustice, because he was blinded by power, position, and wealth. That's why he offended Lord Shiva. But he offered prayer. Now he repented for his mistake. He got the growth there. So much humiliation. Still, that trace of anartha, why it remains. Genuinely, someone has forgiven, then he should be get out of that anartha. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. So the question is, although Daksha
And I have
repented, he was humiliated, he offered prayers, asked forgiveness, why that anartha remained? Why he remained offensive? The fact that he remained offensive, it shows that although he offered prayers, but still he was not completely genuine in his prayers. That is what we can infer. Because if he would have offered, if he would have been purified, he would not have offended Narad Muni again. So why it didn't happen? That shows the power of Vaishnava aparadh. It is like a vajra lepa. It is like lines on stone. Even if one repents, even if one asks forgiveness, even if the devotee forgives us, but still the power is it is so bad, it is so powerful that the offensive mentality doesn't go so easily. So that's how one should be very, very careful. That is example to show how Vaishnava Prad is so very powerful. That's the only reason. Vaishnava offense is a great, great obstacle. That's the only thing we can infer from this whole thing. Okay, Broji.
is our hope.
Sorry?
Even if we return for our aparadas, what is our hope?
See,
The
Daksha's
situation is
offense
very
was really grave. It depends on the intensity of the offense which a devotee does. Minor offenses, they don't have any much consequence. तो चलते चलते हमने किसी डिवोटी को पाँव लग गया तो अरे अपराध हो गया, और वो किसी को एक्स्ट्रा स्वीट नहीं दिया तो उसने हमको गाली दिया और हमसे गुस्सा हो गया तो अपराध. That is not a big offense. Here Daksha is consciously committing an offense. He is consciously planning it. He is doing everything very consciously. So conscious offense is really, a great obstacle. If unintentionally one offends a devotee, then the consequence one may go through. The famous example is Chitraketu offending. Parvati was offended, although he laughed at Shivaji. So it was an unintentional offense. What was the result of this unintentional offense? Chitraketu's devotion was not affected. His material situation was affected. So if we perform offenses unintentionally, then our material situations may go bad. We may suffer materially, but devotionally, our consciousness will remain the same. But if somebody is intentionally committing offense, intentionally planning a devotee को हम मजा चखाएंगे, इसको नीचे दिखाएंगे, इसका गड़बड़ होना चाहिए, that means our devotional service is gone. So that's how we have to be really careful. Unintentional offenses, if the devotee doesn't take it, no effect. If the devotee is offended, we will suffer materially for sure. Even if we have good intentions. That's how managers suffer. Managers, they have to be so very careful. If devotees are offended, even if we have good intentions, some material sufferings will come. That is a service the managers have to do selflessly. Service सेवा भी करो, गाली भी खाओ, materials of suffering भी आ सकता है. That is a selfless service. What managers, the leaders, they do. So it is a service of the devotee community not to take offense, not to feel bad when something is done, some decisions are taken. Otherwise, if devotees feel bad, that the Vaishnavas suffer. Okay. Okay, it is 5 o'clock. We'll stop here. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, we'll just read this purport and we'll stop here. Although Daksha felt defeated, he knew that his punishment was simply the great mercy of Lord Shiva. He remembered that Shiva and Vishnu are never neglectful of the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas are sometimes unqualified. According to Vedic civilization, Brahmana should never be punished. Prabhupada gives the story of Ashwatthama and Arjun. Draupadi gives so many reasons. क्या reason देती हैं वो? He is your guru's son. He is a Brahman. Kripi will suffer. Or it is not dharma. Dharmyam, Nayam, Sakarunam, Nirvyalikam, Samam, Mahat. ये 6 कारण बताती हैं. So Prabhupada writes how Brahmana should never be punished. Without duplicity. It is duplicitous. You are saying you have learned from Dronacharya and you are punishing his son, you are killing his son. It is a duplicitous activity. So Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva punished Daksha not as one does his enemy. Rather, he punished Daksha just to bring him to his senses. Okay, so we'll continue next time. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.
अभी जमा किए थे ना शारदा, हाँ शारदा शारदा प्रसाद दास, शारदा दास, शारदा प्रसाद.